Our story begins many generations after the first man and woman walked the earth, in a time when wickedness had spread across the land like a great shadow, and the hearts of men had turned far from their Creator. Violence filled the earth. Neighbor turned against neighbor. The strong crushed the weak. The greedy stole from the poor, and the cries of the suffering rose up to heaven. But in the midst of this darkness, there lived one man who still walked with God. His name was Noah. Each morning, Noah rose before the sun to tend his vineyard. He spoke softly to his plants, believing that every living thing deserved kindness. His wife, Emzara, had walked beside him for many years. She knew his heart, a heart that could not pass by any creature in need. To Noah, every creature bore the breath of the Almighty. Every life was precious. Noah had been blessed with 3 sons: Shem, the eldest, thoughtful and wise; Ham, strong and restless; and Japheth, the youngest, always curious, always hungry. That morning, Shem shared a dream that had disturbed his sleep. He had seen water everywhere, covering the hills, the villages, everything, and floating upon the water, a great wooden house. Ham dismissed it as nothing, but Noah felt something stirring in his spirit. A heaviness, as if the very earth was groaning beneath the weight of mankind's wickedness. Noah knew what he must do. He would seek the Lord until he had an answer. As the sun set over the land, Noah climbed to a quiet place and fell to his knees. His heart was heavy with questions, heavy with sorrow for the world around him. And then, God spoke. "I have seen the wickedness of mankind. The earth is filled with violence because of them. Every thought of their hearts is only evil, all the time. I am grieved that I made them. I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, every living creature, for I am deeply troubled that I made them. But you, Noah, you have found favor in my eyes. You are a righteous man, blameless among the people of your time. You walk with me, and through you I will preserve life. Build an ark of cypress wood. Make rooms in it, and coat it with pitch, inside and out. 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, 30 cubits high. Make a roof, leaving an opening 1 cubit high. Put a door on the side. Make lower, middle, and upper decks. I am going to bring floodwaters on the earth to destroy all life under the heavens. Every creature that has the breath of life in it will perish. Everything on earth will die. But I will establish my covenant with you. You will enter the ark, you and your sons, and your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And you will bring 2 of every living creature into the ark to keep them alive with you, male and female. Take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it away as food for you and for them." The weight of what God had revealed was almost too much to bear. The destruction of all life, the end of the world as Noah knew it, and yet a way of salvation, a door of hope. In that moment, Noah made a choice that would echo through all of history. Everything the Lord had commanded, he would do. When Noah returned, his family saw immediately that something had changed. His face was pale, but his eyes held a fire they had never seen before. He told them everything, the judgment coming upon the earth, the flood that would cover all, and the ark. They must build a vessel of salvation for their family and for every kind of creature. Ham protested that such a thing was impossible. It would take decades to build. But Shem remembered his dream, the water, the floating house, and knew in his heart that his father spoke the truth. It was Emzara who spoke first. If the Lord had spoken, then they would obey, no matter how long it took, no matter what the world thought. And so began the greatest test of faith the world had ever seen. For Noah and his family would spend the next 100 years building a vessel for a flood that no one believed would come. And so the work began. Day after day, year after year, Noah and his sons labored under the open sky.
One tree falls, another grows, faithful hands and the Lord knows. Every beam and every nail, trust in Him, we will not fail.
Years may pass, the world may mock, but we're building on the rock. When the storms begin to rise, we'll be safe before His eyes. Faithful hands, faithful hearts, God completes what He starts. Trust His word, trust His way. Salvation comes one day.
The people of the village had watched the ark rise on the horizon for generations. To them, Noah was a madman, a fool wasting his life on an impossible dream. They mocked his God. They mocked his message. They threw stones at his family and called him every cruel name they could imagine. But still, Noah warned them. Still, he pleaded to every person who would listen. And even those who would not, he spoke of the coming judgment and the door of salvation that remained open. They did not listen. They never listened, and Noah's heart broke for them, even as they broke his. After 100 years of labor, the ark stood complete, 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, 30 cubits high, exactly as God had commanded. Looking upon the finished vessel, the sons finally understood what their father had taught them so long ago, that obedience is its own reward. That understanding often comes through doing. And then they felt it. A shift in the wind. The time was near. Then a wonder began that none had ever witnessed. From every direction, from forests and mountains, from deserts and plains, creatures great and small began to move toward the ark. Lions and lambs walked side by side. Wolves and sheep shared the same path. Predator and prey, united by a call that only they could hear. The voice of the Creator summoning them to safety. 2 by 2 they came. Every species, every kind, birds of the air, beasts of the field, creatures that crawled upon the ground, exactly as God had promised. For 7 days the procession continued. Noah welcomed each creature with gentleness, speaking softly to the frightened, guiding the confused. And when the last pair arrived, 2 gentle doves, white as snow, Noah knew the gathering was complete. The villagers had come to watch the spectacle. They pointed at the animals, trying to explain away the miracle before their eyes. One last time, Noah lifted his voice. One last warning, one final plea for them to turn from their wickedness and find refuge in the ark. But they would not hear. They laughed. They mocked. They threw stones. And when Noah fell silent, they returned to their villages, still laughing, certain that tomorrow would be like every other day. They did not know that they would never see another tomorrow. For hours, Noah and his family waited at the open door, hoping, praying that someone, anyone, might change their mind, that one soul might run toward salvation. Go into the ark, you and your whole family. 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made. God had spoken. Noah whispered a prayer for those who would not come, a prayer for mercy, even for those who had shown him none. The Lord himself closed the door. For 7 days, Noah and his family waited inside the ark. Outside, the sun still shone. The villagers still mocked. But inside, surrounded by the creatures God had saved, They trusted. They waited, and they prepared for the promise of God to be fulfilled. 7 days passed inside the ark. 7 days of waiting in the darkness, caring for hundreds of creatures, trusting in a promise that had not yet come true. The sons wondered silently if their father had heard correctly. The wives wept quietly when they thought no one was watching. But Noah never wavered. His faith was not in what he could see, but in what God had spoken. And then the 7th day arrived. It began with a sound like thunder, but deeper, heavier, as if the earth itself was breaking apart. On that day, all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened. Water came from below and from above, a cataclysm beyond imagination. Inside the ark, Noah and his family felt the vessel lift from the ground. They were floating, carried by the very waters of judgment from which they had been saved. Outside, the world Noah had known was disappearing. The villages, the fields, the people who had laughed, the children who had played, all swallowed by the rising waters. They could hear the cries of the drowning, fists pounding on the sealed door, voices begging for the salvation they had rejected for 100 years. And there was nothing Noah could do. The door that God had closed, no man could open. Noah wept for them. Even now, even after everything, he wept for them. The rain fell for 40 days and 40 nights. The waters rose higher and higher until they covered all the high mountains under the entire heavens.
Lord, the waters rise so high, we cannot see the mountains now. Only rain falls from the sky, but in your hands we're safe somehow. Waves of judgment, waves of grace, both flow from your mighty hand. Though we cannot see your face, we trust what we don't understand. 40 days, 40 nights, floating in the dark unknown, but you're our salvation light. We are never, ever
alone. 40 days became 40 nights, became weeks, became months. The rain stopped, but the waters remained. An endless gray ocean with no horizon, no landmark, no sign of the world that had been. As the months stretched on, the weight of survival pressed upon them. The sameness of each day, the endless gray, the memories of everyone they had lost. Noah carried the heaviest burden. He remembered the village, the children playing in the streets, the old man who sold dates by the well, a little girl named Ada, who'd looked at him with curious eyes. He had done everything God commanded. He had warned them for 100 years, built the ark in plain sight, begged them to believe, and still they had chosen death over life, pride over humility, mockery over salvation. That knowledge did not make the grief easier. It never would. But in the midst of sorrow, a small sound reminded him. Life remained. Hope endured. God had not forgotten. God remembered Noah. He remembered every creature in the ark, every lion and lamb, every raven and dove, every soul that had trusted in his word. God sent a wind over the earth, and the waters began to recede. The family gathered at the window and saw what they had not seen in over a year: blue sky, sunlight, hope. On the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. After months of floating in the unknown, they had found solid ground. Noah fell to his knees and gave thanks to the God who had kept his promise. To test how far the waters had receded, Noah first sent out a raven. The blackbird flew back and forth, finding carrion to feed upon, but never returning to tell of dry land. Then Noah sent out a dove, gentle, pure, seeking only living things. The dove flew out over the waters, searching for a place to rest. The dove returned, having found nothing, but Noah did not despair. He waited 7 more days, then sent her out again. And when the dove returned that evening, she carried in her beak a freshly plucked olive leaf. Trees were growing again. Life was returning. The earth was healing, and the family who had trusted in darkness finally saw the dawn. When Noah sent the dove out a 3rd time, she did not return. She had found her home. And Noah knew the earth was ready. A new world awaited. A world washed clean. A world of second chances. Noah, come out of the ark, you and your wife, and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you. The birds, the animals, all the creatures that move along the ground, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in number. For more than a year, that door had remained sealed, closed by God's own hand. Now it opened upon a world made new. They stood in silence, overwhelmed by what they saw. The world they had known was gone, but in its place, something beautiful was beginning. The animals poured forth from the ark, every creature that had trusted the shelter of those wooden walls. They scattered across the new earth, carrying life to every corner of the world. And Noah watched them go, knowing that he would likely never see such a sight again. Predator and prey, walking together in peace, a glimpse of what the world was meant to be. Before building a home, before planting a garden, before doing anything else in this new world, Noah knew what must come first. Worship, thanksgiving, gratitude to the God who had saved them. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma of Noah's sacrifice, and he was moved in his heart. Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from youth. And never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease. It was a promise of grace, grace that humanity did not deserve, but grace that God chose to give. The world would continue. Life would flourish, and mercy would reign. Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. But you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it. And from each human being, I will demand an accounting for the life of another human being. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed. For in the image of God has God made mankind. I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, all those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. This is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature, a covenant for all generations to come. And then they saw it, stretching from one end of the sky to the other, a bow of light, painted in colors that no eye had ever beheld, a sign in the heavens. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth, and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on the earth.
Colors arching through the air.